My baby daddy made a deal with the devil, or at least that's the best way that she can explain what happened. This story comes from a viewer, and she said the weeks before her son's father ended up in the ICU were some of the strangest weeks of her life. At first, it was little things like just random comments, questions that really just didn't make sense. Like one night, he looked at her and said, like, if something happened to me, would you keep our son away from so and so? And she kind of laughed and was like, what are you talking about? But he didn't laugh back. A few days later, he asked if she knew if anyone who could remove a hex. And then another day, he told her that if anything was to happen to her, that she needed to leave his money alone. You already know sis was looking like, what are you talking about? Because the thing is their life looked almost perfect from the outside. He had a good career, he had a successful side business, they had a nice home, he had money in the bank, and they were expecting another child together. It seemed like he was at the peak of his life, but this man seemed like he was terrified. Do you want to hear some creepy stuff from Denise.Jewels? Buckle up, it's story time. It was almost like he was waiting for something. And then about a week later, the phone call came. There was a car accident. He was in critical condition in the ICU. So she rushed to the hospital. The machines were everywhere, monitors beeping. The doctors were talking in circles about the scans and the injuries, waiting for the results. She sat there for hours. She held his hand and talked to him, even though he was heavily sedated. And she left to go check on their son. And right before she did, she leaned in close and whispered, said, I'm coming back. Just hold on. He didn't respond, but she said she felt his fingers twitch. After she had returned some time later, she had fell asleep in the chair at his bedside, and that's when she had this dream, or what she thought was a dream. She said she saw her baby's father standing in the complete darkness. Across from him was a shadow, not exactly a person, just a tall, dark figure. The figure didn't move, it didn't blink, and it didn't speak at first. And her baby daddy was crying, begging and pleading. He was asking for more time, another chance, and then the figure finally answered. You broke the contract. You know the consequences. She instantly sat up, and the heart monitor was screaming it was flatlining. Staff were already rushing into the room. There were people everywhere. They were pushing medication. Somebody pulled her in the hallway, and as she was being led out, she looked back, and right at the head of the bed, there stood that tall, dark figure from her dream watching. They got a pause and the figure vanished. She tried to convince herself that she had just imagined it. Stress, exhaustion, fear, anything but what she thought it could have been. But she really couldn't shake the feeling. The whole night just felt wrong, heavy, like something was just waiting. And at 3:33 in the morning, the alarms go off again. This time she is wide awake. The room is starting to explode in chaos, but before the team could even reach him, that's when she saw the dark figure again. Standing beside the bed, it reached towards him, and she swears she saw his body sit upright, not physically, but something else. The figure grabbed it, and both of them disappeared straight through the floor, gone. The code team worked him along with the doctors and the nurses, but they never got him back. She sat in that waiting room for nearly 2 hours, hoping that someone would walk through those doors and tell her that they had gotten a miracle. But instead, she had gotten a different message. And you would think that the story ends there, but according to her, that wasn't it. Because every time she spends that money that was left behind, something goes wrong. Her car breaks down, an appliance fails, unexpected bills appear, problems just seem to come out of nowhere. So you already know I gotta ask you, do you think that his money is cursed? Or do you think that some debts just keep collecting long after the person is gone? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if this story gave you the chills, make sure you share it with a friend. And as always, have your best spooky day. Bye.